What's happening, people? It is Egal Talk Football, but it is your host Souls today. As Egal's got father duties, he's occupied with something else at the moment. He may or may not join us later, but this is the face you're going to be greeted with today. So do like, do subscribe, and make sure that you are commenting your thoughts on today's topics. And without further ado, let's introduce it. We're going to be talking about the PSG review, and we're also going to be looking at how we're going to beat them under the lights in another Champions League clash after the draw that we've had in the opening game against Atalanta. Is it is it time for the Ethan party to start, or is it too early and premature to actually start him in a game of this magnitude where two European sides who have not had historical history in actually achieving European trophies are going head to head? We've got a point to prove. We're under the lights at the Emirates again. And you know what? It's going to be a clash to remember because PSG have a point to prove, and so do the Arsenal. But make sure you are commenting your thoughts, what your lineups are going to be, and how you think this game is going to go, because there is a lot to talk about and a lot of updates that we have received about Arsenal and Arsenal players. But do make sure that you're subscribing, liking, and sharing if you do like me hosting, because it may happen more often or it may not happen as often. But obviously, it'd be nice to see. Oh damn, I'm already hated on. Yes, I'm not Igal, but yeah, unfortunately, this is what you're gonna get today. So hopefully you can actually comment something productive, Jacob, because yeah, that's the only way we're gonna actually be able to move forward. Um, but yes, let's actually get into it. So we're looking at some of the injuries that we've had in terms of Mikel Merino. We've got, the history of like Kieran Tierney coming, Tomiyasu been reported in training as well, and obviously Martin Odegaard's exclusion in this sort of game as well. Calafiori has been sort of, it's been told that he's not actually injured and it was nothing serious. So he's going to be in contention to play this game, which is massive news for us. Um, thank you, Jacob. I hope you were just messing. But anyways, would love to get your actual thoughts on the game, and we can go from there really. But yes, Calafiori had an injury scare. We were looking at him potentially being out for a long time. Some people saying he might have an ACL or an MCL, which kind of varies between 6 to 12 months. Now I can imagine. Yeah, Igal's got daddy duties, so he's gonna be pretty much occupied there. But I do think Dial's going to be joining soon, so we're going to have someone on the show as well. So don't worry, there will be a bit more spicy conversations happening. Hopefully he does join soon. But if he doesn't, we can obviously carry on with the show. But there's major news from both sides in terms of teams and players and what we're expecting to see. Obviously, the main ones for Arsenal, Calafiori is fit to play. The next one is, Mikel Merino has been seen training even prior to the game against Leicester. So there could be an inclusion in the squad. I'm not saying he's going to start, but there could be a massive inclusion of Mikel Merino featuring in this game. Or maybe they will save him for the game on the weekend against Southampton. But we'll have to wait and see kind of how that one develops. But Kieran Tierney isn't going to be back until January, or maybe even later than that. So without further ado, let me also, introduce the co-host, someone who does get under my skin a little bit because he does like to be positive when I don't think there's a time to be. But without further ado, Dio, man, how you doing?
What's up, souls?
This could get fiery or it could be all right today. I don't know.
No, it's always all right with you, man. Seriously, like man, thanks for having me again, Igal. Thanks for having me on the show. Look, I 100% agree with a lot of your opinions, but my thing is like, why am I mad at it when the deed has been done? I just want to see solutions. It's like, all right, where do we go from here? You know what I'm saying? Like, like me being mad at it, it's not going to change what they've done. It's like if Arteta decides to go and play like 16-year-olds against PSG, like what I think if they're on the pitch, what am I like? Me being mad is like, no, okay, I don't know what miracle you 16-year-olds have to perform, but let's find a solution. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy though, but yeah. How's your day been, man?
No, it's been all good. A bit hectic, obviously. But no, it's been good, man. Wind down, talk about Arsenal. It's always good, obviously, with yourself, Dio, as much as we can get into a bit of a debate, let's say. But it's always healthy, I think. It's good to kind of have a difference of opinion and talking about it. How's your day been?
Not bad at all. It's been a busy work day. Been working on animations and stuff all day. I've worked from home today, so I got the kids. They're downstairs. Yeah, it's been good. It's been a more relaxing day. Tomorrow is probably going to be more hectic for me because I'm in the office. So yeah, we'll see.
Oh, that's good to hear. But yeah, let's kick it off. I mean, we obviously got the positive news. I'd get your opinion on it, but the Calafiori news, it was nothing serious. It looks like he is in contention to play and he is able to be picked. But alongside that, the biggest one that we've been waiting for, it looks like mikel Merino might be in the squad as well. What's your thoughts on both of them?
That's just big news, man. As in, honestly, I'm just excited because the fact that we heard that he had an injury and now we know he's coming back, and then mikel Merino is back on the team. Tomiyasu is in training, like that boost. And then you now look back at the last 6 games and go, we've actually played the last 6 games and won them without playing mikel Merino. Tomiyasu has not been able to make it into the team. Calafiori didn't make it in the first few games. He made it in the last couple of games that we played, and then there was an injury scare as well. So it's almost like we found ways to win without some of these key players that we brought in. So I'm excited. I'm excited that we still have him. I'm excited that he's back. mikel Merino, I'm excited to see in that number 8, and Declan back in the 6. Like I have this image in my head, right? So since we bought him, that Declan in the 6, Odegaard and mikel Merino, right? You see Declan and Mikel, those duels that they win, and like just if you have those two in the back four of Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, and Timber, come on, help me here. Like I'm somebody like that's what I'm talking about. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited that he's back. It's good. It's good to hear things like this because man, it's been a tough 6 games. It's been a tough 6 games. And not having players like that you could have actually even brought off the bench, even if anything else. You know what I'm saying? Like, and even the players we've had on the bench have come off the bench and done the business. Ethan has come off and done the business. Gabriel Jesus has come and worked his socks off. They can't tell me anything less. Like this guy has worked his socks off. Even getting a yellow for his shoe being removed and delaying the restart. Yeah, it don't matter. It's all part of it. So yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see Merino. I'm excited to see, and I'm happy that Calafiori's injury was just a no nothing. That's a scare that we can't afford right now.
No, 100%. I think with obviously with Yorian Timbers coming back from an ACL injury, I mean, look, he's touched wood, he has stayed fit and he hasn't really had any injury scares, but it's always that concern with an ACL where you don't want to put too much pressure on a player. With Ben White, obviously at the moment being kind of hit and miss, and like the coaching staff have always said, he's willing to run through brick walls and play through the pain barrier, which isn't always good for a player's like longevity, for example. Yeah. So it's always good to know that we've got someone like Calafiori. But I think one of the best things about the news of mikel Merino, I'm not saying he's going to play in a game like this, but it's actually from Martinelli. Now, I've been a big critical of like Martinelli and the way that he's played, and me saying that actually we're utilizing him in the wrong way. He's not a winger for me; he's an inside forward or a striker, however you kind of want to phrase it. But I feel like with the introduction or the potential introduction of mikel Merino, that's the player that's now going to be fully unlocked. And we're going to see that sort of, 2022-23, where he got the double goals, where he got double goal contributions and obviously assists as well, or close to double figure assists. I feel like mikel Merino is going to unlock Martinelli to a whole new height, even though Calafiori has done an incredible job of bringing Martinelli back to form. But I feel like with the Merino and him wanting to kind of be a touchline midfielder is going to actually amplify the qualities that Martinelli has, bringing him closer to goal. And I think that's going to become a massive threat because we always talk about, wanting to balance that left-hand side with how good the right-hand side is. And this introduction is going to bring a whole new dimension and allow Martinelli to become the player we know he can be. But what are your opinions on the setup and what's it going to do for the team?
I think it's going to do wonders for Martinelli. You're right, because we did see it with we saw the assist that he gave to mikel Merino against Man City. We saw that work combination. Calafiori, that he gave to Calafiori. You saw that workout there. We saw again when he scored against when he came in and he was able to score. I think that's against Leicester, if I'm not mistaken. On the weekend he had a chance earlier, which he skyrocketed, and I said to myself, I was like, take it down, Martinelli. Just breathe, confidence. And when he was able to score that goal, regardless of how the goal came, he scored it from an inside forwards position. And you know why he was able to do that? Because Calafiori was able to push up on that left and pull defenders away from him. So he was able to run into that channel. And for me, I think having a Mikel Merino who's good on that left-hand side in midfield, can hold that touchline wing for him, will allow Martinelli do a lot of running in. So yeah, I think it will free him up. I think it will help him a lot because we've not had anybody in that position per se. I mean, we had Declan Rice, but he's not a touchline midfield player. Declan runs that channel, and he crashes the box and he runs back to help again in the midfield and runs to help back in defense. And so I think that entire left side was just Martinelli had to hold the wing and wasn't getting a lot of balls. And when he did get a lot of balls, by the time he's up there, he's all alone. And then again, his decision making, I think because of the lack of confidence, he started making like really stupid, simple, really annoying decisions like run in, look up, and just put the ball in the 6-yard box, put the ball in a dangerous place. That's all we ask. If you do that 9 out of 10 times, somebody will look. Havertz will eventually get one. Somebody will get one.
I mean,
put
as
in dangerous places.
Pretty much just shot it, rebounded. He just happens to be there, ready to just tap it in.
Just tap it in. So put it in a dangerous place, and you will get results. So I think his decision making is something that I question. When Mikel Merino does come into this team eventually and is able to unlock him, he's going to be able to create many chances for himself. Will he take them now because of his confidence level and his decision making? That's where I question it. But this goal last week, I think, has brought his confidence level. Any player that scores a goal after such a long time, your confidence level is like, yes, I still know how to do this. And that for me is key. I was happy that he was able to score, and he played well. He played well. He played against City as well. He played well. He didn't do phenomenally, but he played well, better than he did in the first couple of games. And for me, that's the progression that I want to see at the very beginning of the season, where we're playing slower than usual, where we have injuries, and where we've played tough games and we found a way to win. The fact that you're getting better game for game, that's important to me, because it tells me that once you peak, you're going to be there for the end of the season, where we really need everybody on fire. So yeah.
No, I think he's been phenomenal with the goal, obviously an assist coming against City, a goal and assist against Leicester, because we are going to need in a game like this. Because for me, PSG, the way that they set up tactically talking, that high line, they're going to want to play us. I'm not going to say they're exposed, but they are going to have opportunities to play off the shoulder. So someone like Martinelli is going to have a lot of joy as long as he's in form. And I think this is the perfect time for him to hit that form, because against PSG, if he can do, let's say, similar things he's done against City and Leicester, it's going to do wonders, because that's now an opposition that's reputable. Obviously, against City, he did it. Against Leicester, it's like, cool, that's a confidence game for you. But against PSG, that kind of bona fides that actually all that hard work that you've been putting in has now been paying off. But we do know of a massive, or potentially, I don't know what your thoughts are, but a massive exclusion for PSG this week, and Ousmane Dembele being injured. As you're obviously occupied with your kids, I'll give my opinions first. But for me, I actually think it's advantage PSG, because for me, Dembele is one of these players, right, who is so talented that he's wasted his ability. Like, he is one of the most overrated, arrogant divas I have ever come across in the world of football. He has been given a biological gift in terms of being able to play with both feet, to be able to have the stature he has for a winger, to be able to be agile, to be able to dribble, to have that ability to not know which foot and be so unpredictable, that he wasted that. Comes to Barcelona, gets his dream move. He was, under disciplinary at Borussia Dortmund for the move that he wanted to make to Barcelona. Comes, gets injured, and starts ordering takeouts, having late night gaming sessions, and wasn't really caring about his rehab. And it's like, you've just had your dream move to one of the biggest institutions in the world of football, and this is how you're treating it. Then you go back home to France and you go to PSG, and you're constantly having discipline issues. You're one of the most wasted talents I have ever seen in football. Like, it's not even the injuries, it's the mindset, it's the absolute application of the player. Like, how would you, from the age of 18 and now coming to 25, 26, and you have not a single ounce of improvements in your ability, in the traits that you possess? It is mind-boggling, like, how much of a wasted human this guy has become. Like, you have every ounce to be amongst the greats in football. You are actually more naturally gifted than a Lionel Messi. But you decided to waste that talent, in my opinion. But that's my rant on Dembele. Maybe it's a personal agenda against him, but for me,
It's
he
not.
has
It's
everything
not.
to
It's
be a
not.
top and one of the greats in my opinion.
Yeah, they say talent will get you there, but character will keep you there. Those are the two things that he doesn't have the character to keep him there. He has the talent, but it's almost like Eden Hazard. If you look at Eden Hazard has the talent. Eden Hazard did not have a bad character per se, but he just, a lot of things we heard about him, like he'd be in the locker room playing games, just waiting, like he's like, just pass me the ball. Like I know I can do this, not coming to training or training lackadaisically, so you're right. I totally agree with you on his discipline issues, and that's on him. That's on him as a player. And for me, it's a I think it's advantage Arsenal. I don't think it's advantage PSG in this game, because they're coming to the Emirates, right? So they're coming to our patch, and it's a Champions League game. It's Champions League night. We drew with Atalanta. It's time we get a first win in the Champions League, and who better to get it against than the PSG? Our record against PSG is pretty good. I think the last, if I'm not mistaken, the last 5 games, 4 or 5 games we played against them, we haven't lost any. We probably won and drawn more. We've won one or drawn 1-2 and drawn 2 or something like that. Or won 1 and drawn 3. I know we've not lost any against them. The last few times we've met them, at whatever times we've met them. So our head-to-head record is not so bad with them when it comes to PSG. So I'm saying it's at the Emirates. It's advantage. For us, we come out with the best, strongest team that we can come out with, and just try and crush these guys. We want to be in the best position with this new Champions League format. We want to be in the best position going forward. When we start playing in the next round. So yeah.
I'm trying to
So
get the history actually. Because I actually don't know what.
Yeah, I read it a while. I think when I saw that they were in we were going to play them, I kind of did a quick search back then, and I know we've gone head to head with them 4 times. I think the last 4 times we've played them, we've won 1 and drawn 3 or something similar, something like that. Yeah.
I mean, in the Champions League in 2016, we were 2-2 and 1-1 in that Champions League game. And then we played them in the Emirates Cup. But yeah, we in fairness, we haven't really had the worst of it's been very tight. It's not been a one heavy sided. There's been a few draws.
Yeah,
But
I know it's just been 1 win and maybe 3 draws or something every time we've had to play them. So we've not been on the losing side against them. It's always been a draw or 1 win that we've had, which is not a bad thing because it says a lot. We don't get to play them all the time. So when you get to play them, it's like, okay, look, we've never lost to you. That is something that the boys can be told. You've never lost to PSG. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going into this game, you don't want to go into this game thinking, yeah, they're a good team, but you don't want to go in. They have a good manager, you don't want to go into this game thinking that, you're going to go in there thinking we've never lost to this team, so we're not losing today. We're winning this game today.
The biggest thing is PSG are very underwhelming in the Champions League. Every time you watch them, you'd expect them to perform at a better level than they normally do. But every time I've seen them personally play, even if you look at the Girona game, for example, someone who, in my opinion, especially losing Savinho, is someone that we're superior to technically, and they only beat them 1-0. So when I'm looking at it, being at home at the Emirates, playing a team like this who do find the pressure of the Champions League too much for them, is something which I'm quite confident with. But I do have a kind of question to ask is, who do you think their biggest threat's going to be, and who do we need to watch out for, and who is your player to watch in this sort of game?
PSG's biggest threat for me. I would honestly, it's what's this guy's name again on the left? That I totally
Is it Barcola?
Barcola. The boy, somehow, some way, he just ends up shining. Somehow, some way. I don't, So him, for me, he's one person I need to. He's the one player that I think we need to look out for. Against us, I haven't watched a lot of their games, so the few games I have seen, he's been the one standout guy to me. Thank God Dembele is not playing as well, and I also thank God that they've lost Mbappe. So it's a good. I don't think they're going to be our strong. It's going to be a difficult game, but it's not a game that we can't overcome. as Arsenal at the Emirates. Because really and truly, I'll be honest with you, I haven't watched a lot of PSG, so I can't really speak to how good they are, and I've not had the time to really go and look at some of their games like I usually would have done. So Barcola is the only person that I've seen on that team that I've been like, okay, shoot, we got to be careful with him because I know he's very fast. I've seen him, and I know he's really, really fast. So so we'll see. I mean, I he's the one guy on the PSG side. Now for us, the one person I would like to see come in and do something, and I think it would do a world for his confidence. A world is Ethan Nwaneri as a sub. I would love to
Is
see
that for
that.
you to start him, or do you think
No,
he
no,
should
as a
come off?
sub. I said as a sub. Yeah, I think as a sub. Okay, so you saw him against Leicester. He came in, took on 1, 2, 3 players. Remember the shot he took that the keeper saved. And let's be realistic here. Leicester's goalkeeper was having a fabulous day. 13 saves. That guy was just having and it's not like were playing badly. It's just he was having a phenomenal game, right? So Ethan Nwaneri takes that type of chance 2, 3, 4 times in a game because he has time to take it. I really feel like he scores a goal in the Champions League game. Oof, oof, like that would do a world for his confidence, So for me, that's what I'd really love to see. Do I
I
reckon
think,
Merino will be on the bench? I think he'll probably be a sub tomorrow. He should be on the bench. Merino should be on the bench.
yeah, like to your comment, Harsh. I think he will be. He looks like he's going to be part of the squad in some ways, or he's going to at least be at the Emirates tomorrow to kind of watch the game. But I do think he'll be in the squad or on the subs. Whether he comes on or not is going to be a different story. Because
Different story, yeah.
yeah, because I think a lot of managers do like to kind of include you even in the subs so that you can watch the tactical outputs, you can hear the coaches speak about how the game's going to change and that kind of element so that you learn about. Because I remember like where I kind of picked this up when I was a lot younger was the RVP moved to Man United, where RVP actually didn't play like a period of 3 or 4 games, and then he got introduced to the squad because they kind of wanted him to sit back and actually learn the tacticals and kind of how they wanted him to position himself and stuff like that. So it could just be a way of easing him back in, but don't be surprised. I mean, it could be a case of I don't think he'll start, but he'll definitely, I think, be on the subs tomorrow. But in terms of like my PSG player to watch, I think there are a few that I kind of have my eyes on. Obviously their new signing, João Neves, someone who they signed later in the windows, especially for us, a highly touted Portuguese and someone who's got incredible midfield traits, someone that we've been looking at bringing in as well. So I think he's going to be someone that I've got my eyes on just to kind of see how he develops and whether he can sink in. Because the issue with like for me is Benfica high profile signings haven't really turned out as good as they should. So he's going to be an intriguing one to see under the lights as well. But obviously, as you mentioned, Barcola is someone that's a phenomenal talent, one of the best in Europe right now. And, he's been on fire with PSG, whether it's, with France in the Euros, for example, when it comes down to, PSG in the Champions League, he's always a constant threat, someone who can bring so many different dynamics to his game, a touchline winger, someone who can play down that middle as well and be a threat in different dynamics of the game. So he's going to be an interesting one. And I think, I am just wanting to see the levels that like Stacker and a Martinelli can show to a Barcola because a lot of European talents do get a lot more hype than the English talents. So I am intrigued to see kind of when they come head to head how they fare. But that's kind of like talking about PSG. But talking about ourselves, who's going to be, let's say, the match winner or the key player that we need to have firing for us to have the best chance of winning this game?
That's the thing with this Arsenal team, and I've gone back and looked at how Mikel Arteta is kind of shaping this team. It's the team that has to be on fire. That's the problem with Arsenal. If Arsenal as a team is not on fire, we don't win games. Like there's no like if you look at all the games he've won, right? You can talk about the goal scorer, right, and be like, oh, that's such a good goal, Gabriel from a set piece, great stuff. But then who took the set piece? Bukayo Saka, and he put it in the right place. And then who distracted the goalkeeper? It's like if Arsenal as a squad, as a team on the pitch is not actually all firing together, that's when we don't win games. So it's very hard for me to say one person. But the person I would say for me needs to step up the most, and he has been stepping up in every game to keep us in check, because I know that the rest of the boys will do what they need to do and what they need to do for us to go on and win this game is David Raya. He probably will be my man of the match, because I've just come to finally agree that there's a reason why we got him, and it's showing now. It is showing it is no disrespect to Ramsdale. It is miles from what we would have gotten, miles from what would have gotten from Ramsdale. Not just the saves, the ball distribution, the calmness, the collecting the ball from set pieces, the commanding the 6-yard box. It's like it's the giant gloves that I don't understand. Like I don't know why his gloves are oversized, but it works. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
are they actually oversized? So I don't know if you.
Oh, he has massive hands. Whatever the case is,
Oh.
whatever the case is, he might have. I mean, I ain't checking out his hands but I just say his gloves are really big, and I'm like, I don't know. He's not the tallest guy, not the biggest guy out of all the goalkeepers in the Prem, but you can say right now that he's top 3. Like you can say that because of him, like in form right now, in form goalkeepers.
It's an argument to me say it like he's probably one of the best on form keepers.
One best on form keepers right now, and arguably he's brought us that much closer to City. Like that much closer to City when it comes to like squad depth. Like if you look at Edison and look at him, Edison, we'll say it's still better, but it's not miles apart now. It's not like Edison is on 90% and Raya is like 60%. No, there's maybe a good 10% between them, distribution wise and otherwise. But having said that, that's who I think would need to step up the most, because I do think that PSG will get chances. I do think our defense will hold out, but PSG will get chances. And I think if Raya keeps us in the game, we'll score how we always score. We score open play when we can, and we score set pieces if you give us the chance to. Our defenders score, our midfielders score, and sometimes, and I use the word sometimes, our attackers scores. That's how I look at the Arsenal team. Calafiori is the one scoring against City for us. I mean, like, it's Gabriel and Calafiori. It's 2 defenders contributing goals. It's not the strikers, but the workload of the strikers to help the defenders when it comes to defending as well. It's like, so that's why I said that it's the team. For me, the team is firing, we win. I really can't pick anybody out. I want to remove this notion where everybody tries to pull weight on Bukayo Saka's head. Saka needs to step up. Saka needs to step up in big games. It's just a rhetoric and a narrative that they want to use to be able to put him down. Saka's numbers are phenomenal already at this stage, and people just don't want to admit it. He is turning out the numbers. The only difference is he doesn't have the trophy to show for it yet. And once we win the league this season, put some respect on that boy's name and call him world class finally.
So on that, obviously Indiana here, long-time friend of mine, not winning the league this season, a failure. Like, just because you touched on winning the league, so
yeah, not winning the league this season, is it a failure? I mean, literally, you failed to win the league. That's a failure, literally. But the context is key. And I say the context is key because if you make it to the finals of the Champions League, you win the FA Cup, you lose the league by 1 point on goals difference, and you win the Carabao Cup or something, you win the 2 league cups, I'm not going to be mad at you. I'd be like, oh yeah, you didn't, yeah, of course I want to win the league, but the point is, we've seen seasons when 99 points did not win the league. We've seen seasons when 92 points did not win the league. We've seen last season like with us where 89 points did not win the league. So yes, winning the league is the goal. If you don't win it, all other 19 teams failed. That's a failure for all other 19 teams, not just the team that came second. So it's the context and how you feel. Now, if we lose the league by 7 points, drop off at the end of the season, lose the last 3 games of the season, fall apart, become Spursy like Spurs, and just act out stupidly, right? Now that's a failure because you've built this far to be 2 points away from the champions, where all you need to do is make sure you consistently find ways to win even when it's difficult, like we've done in the last 6 games, and then you now just throw it all away. That's a failure. That's a total failure. So yeah.
Looks like Mo here. Like, obviously, comment your thoughts as a PSG fan, how you see this game, and what do you think of Arsenal? Because I'd like to hear from like a European side coming across Arsenal. Are you nervous? Are you scared? Is this like a new feeling for you? Because obviously, in the past, let's say 6-7 years, we haven't really been the Arsenal or like a feared side in Europe. So has this team brought that fear and respect for you as a PSG, someone who's been consistently in the Champions League? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that bit. But obviously, on the question, how do you guys see the game going tomorrow? Yeah, so we haven't actually spoken. We've spoken about each individual like players and like how the team. But how is this game? Is this game going to be for you an exciting game, or is it going to be a very tactical? Because don't forget, it's Luis Enrique versus Mikel Arteta. Luis Enrique, a fan favorite, to come in and replace Emery, but also someone that a lot of people have been touting to bring in if Mikel Arteta fails. So this could just be an opportunity for Mikel to kind of put all of that to bed and say, look, amongst these European giants, I am there and I can speak to these and I can go head to head with them. How do you see this game going? Oh, you're on mute, I think.
Sorry, let me unmute. Sorry, I was on mute.
Sorry.
How do I see it going? Like I said, I think I'm a lot more confident about this Arsenal team, and again, the way we've been playing and the way Mikel has set this team up, we're more suited for cup competitions than we are actually for the league. The way he set us up as a defensive team, if you play 9 games to get to the final defensively and score how you can score, you can win trophies like that. But in the league, for 38 games, is tiring. It's very, very tiring. So I think we're more suited for cup competitions the way we're set up defensively and our midfield to be able to go on and do a number on these guys. I'm not saying we're going to trash PSG. PSG is an amazing team. They are going to be a hard game to play at the Emirates. We need the 12th man, which is the fans at the stadium, to really, really, really bring it, because in other parts of Europe, you go there to their stadium and, dude, they shout you down. Like the way the fans are there, you can barely hear anything. It's like it is so wild, and so Arsenal fans at the stadium, 12 player they need to bring it. They need to bring it. I think we can win this game. I think we can. I also believe we can keep a clean sheet at home at the Emirates. I think we can keep a clean sheet at home here. I suspect we can. I smell a 2-0. I'm not super confident of the 2-0. I'll say 1-0 I'm very confident of, but I suspect the 2-0, which is like last minute, something happens and we get a second goal. But 1-0 I can guarantee, and we can keep a clean sheet because we're home. It's a tough team. We don't have to set up on the low block with them. We can do a mid block against PSG. As long as we don't give Dembele is not there on the right hand side. So as long as we don't give Barcola, we don't give Vitinha and all these guys a chance to operate in the midfield. I think we'd be able to do a good number on them. We should be able to. They're the away team. They're coming with they have to come and prove that they can do this at the Emirates. So they're going to come all guns blazing because they have to come and do it at the Emirates, And there's no, we're coming back to your stadium. It's a new format this season. So it's not like, let's just go to the Emirates and get a draw. And then when they come back here, we can beat them at home. They don't have that luxury. So they're going to come all out. And if they're coming all out, we have to take
advantage. In a game like
advantage.
this where there's two big teams that are potentially in favourites to go automatic, you kind of need to get a result, especially with, Man City dropping it in their opening games. We unfortunately did drop points in our opening game as well. So it's vital that we now get the first win under our belts in the Champions League. But obviously, Mo's come back with his thoughts as a PSG fan, which I'm kind of happy to read because finally we've got a bit of respect in Europe. So I'm kind of nervous away from home. Arsenal are the best team in England with a great manager and good football. And obviously, he follows on to say PSG's boss Luis Enrique makes a huge claim about Arsenal and explains Ousmane Dembele's axing. They both clash at the weekend with a win over. What did Luis Enrique say? Because I've not heard obviously any of the comments, but what is the huge claim that he made? But obviously, Rams on the previous comment was saying they want us to get rid of Arteta, and the fall off, obviously, winning is a failure. But of course, rivals can see the progression that we're making, but Dembele is a huge miss for us tomorrow. We also don't have Lucas Hernandez. Okay, that's an interesting one. Oh, and Gonzalo Ramos.
Oh wow. Okay, you know what? See, Mohammed, bring it on. Like I'm happy now. I'm a lot more.
I didn't know about the other two.
I was talking confidently before. Let me not be overconfident. I think we can get our 2-0 now. I think we can get our 2-0 now because these are big players for you guys. Like I said, I haven't watched super much of PSG, but the games I've seen and I've seen these guys play, I can tell you categorically that I know in those games they were your big players. Like these are the guys who stepped up. Dembele for me, I just used to look at him and like, what are you doing? You're running. Yeah, you've got skill, you dribble, you do all that, but it's like there's no end product to all of this great stuff that you've done. Taking the ball from deep, running through the midfield, dribbling 2-3 players, getting to the touch, to the touch line, cutting in, and then just fluffing the shots. So yeah, man. I think now that we're hearing more about their injuries, because I didn't know about their injuries as much. Of course, I was going based off the fact that all your players are fit and you're coming to the Emirates. So knowing that you're also dealing with some injuries is makes it a little more balanced. So I think yeah, and like I said, the big fear is the big thing, not fear. The big thing is PSG know that there's no coming back to their home to play, so they're going to come out here to try and win. Because of this new format, there's no, oh, I'm going to come draw. I can take a draw now and then beat you when you come over. That's not happening. So every team is going to be coming to play for the win. So we have to play for the win as well.
I mean, I found Luis Enrique's comments, and actually it's a sight to behold, because the comments that he actually made was, I think they are one of the best teams in Europe at the moment. Enrique told reporters with the ball, they are very close to the top European level, and without the ball, they are also very good. I would even say that they are one of the best teams in the world without the ball.
Oh, wow. And this is coming from a guy who Mikel Arteta said when he joined the Barcelona Academy as a kid, 10-year-old, this guy was playing already there.
I mean, he's a treble winner.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. He's like, it's good to hear stuff. And sometimes it might be mind games. These managers, sometimes they should not give me hope, Jerry, and make me excited about all these things. Sometimes it's like I'm excited. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm excited about the Champions League night. I'm going to be at the office tomorrow, so I need to get myself a new pair of headphones so that nobody hears me. I'm taking an extra screen. I'm setting myself up in a little corner. I'm hiding away, taking a late lunch break so that I can watch this game without any issues. But yeah, man, coming from Luis Enrique, that is high praises. That is really, really high praises. Do I see us as what he says we are? I don't. In Europe, I don't. I hear what people say about how we have the best defense in like the top 5 leagues last season, but even this season, going off the first 6 games, we don't have the best defense in the league. Liverpool does this season so far. So are we really one of the best defenses right now in Europe?
I think he's talking overall structure without the ball more than just the idea of like defensive numbers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like defensively, even when you're off the ball, like positioning, knowing where to be, what to do, how to cut the channels and not choking up the middle, making sure you're forcing them to play through the wings because your defenders can handle them, or all of that good stuff. It's just, yeah, I think Liverpool, like I said, Liverpool had a better structure that for us so far in this last 6 games that we've seen of this season. The first 6 games, sorry, my bad. So yeah.
Do the oppositions play a big influence? Because obviously, when you look at the opposition that we played, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but like in terms of obviously playing Man City, Aston Villa, we've played Spurs, we've played who else? Yeah, so they're like the main 3, but they're like also battling for the top 6 positions. So, but whereas when you look at Liverpool, they've not really played anyone notable just yet. So is that also a figure of like why people are thinking that the way that we handled ourselves against Man City, the way that we've handled ourselves against Brighton, even with being 10 men down, so. Is that something that you think is why Luis Enrique and many other people are also saying Arsenal are arguably one of the best without the ball?
Maybe. Well, that's a fair point to lay out. I mean, we've played tougher opposition than they have so far. So of course, maybe it begs to say that their defense will look better than ours because we've had to face tougher opposition, and we've also found a way to defend against this tougher opposition. However, be it, we've drawn 1. We've drawn 2 games, and we are the only other team with City that are still unbeaten in the first 6 games of the season. Liverpool have lost a game, so there's an argument to be made about us, off the ball having the better defensive structure, and if I know anything about these managers, the fact that they know each other from the past, the fact that someone like Arteta has known Pep since he was 10 years old, kind of thing. Like, these are relationships that go way, way, way back. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays into, into the mind games that the managers will want to play, which is what I'm saying. They've known each other for that long. I don't know if Enrique is just saying this because he knows Arteta likes to be praised. And what I'm saying? Like, you've known yourselves way too long. You just
listen, when Pep praised him, he told him to basically go do one in it. So maybe like when it's not a
know.
rivalry and there's a friendship there.
Well, true that. That's also another angle to look at it from. But I always just try to go deeper. I'm just like, these guys, you've known yourself for over 20 something years. Yes, you may not be talking every day, but you know yourselves, and you probably have some old inside joke that you used to make, like when you're players, and you said, "Oh, I'm also going to make sure one day I win the Champions League," and it's like, "Oh, I'll give you the highest praise if I ever meet you in the game," type thing. And then now the opportunity comes, and he's just praising you, and us the fans were like, "Yeah!" Only for us to get there, and the guy just decided to unleash the dragon on our team on our home ground.
Hey, lures into a false sense of security. But I
False
think,
sense of
obviously, without
security.
further ado, let's get into something which is going to be quite interesting to talk about, and maybe not even actually that controversial, or maybe there's no talking points. But let's see what do we think the lineup is going to be? So obviously in goal, no
Potter.
surprises.
Potter and goal.
Are you going to go Potter? Yeah.
Yeah, I want to put my 16-year-old in goal. I'm
After
joking,
the high
Raya.
praises, we may want to make it even, don't we? Right back's actually an interesting one. Who are we actually going for? I know there's obviously the obvious Shurian Timbers, but there's also Benjamin White. Tomiyasu seems to be back.
Back,
What are we
yeah.
going for right back? Yeah.
Ben White is out actually right now for injury.
Oh, is he out? Okay.
I confirmed that he's out. He's not even going to be on the squad. According to Mikel Arteta, he's pushing the physios because he wants to get into the squad. Ben White wants to run through another brick wall, and they've told him that since other people are injured, are not injured, he should just rest. His injury is not bad. They just don't want him play through the pain anymore. Like you'd rather rest him. And so I think if we're going right back, I definitely am going Jurien Timber right back.
I mean, the centre back pairing speaks for itself
It
at the
speaks for
moment.
itself. It's Saliba and Gabriel.
Any surprises at left back, or are we kind of going with the obvious?
I'm going to go with the obvious right now. The fact that he's fit enough to be on the squad and can play, I'm going to play Calafiori. I'm not going to risk it. If anything happens to him in the game, let's say the knock he got against Leicester gets aggravated or he needs to be taken out, I have Jacob Kiwi on the bench that can come in and at least cover the number. Or in that case, I'll bring in Tomiyasu to left back, or I'd put Jurien Timber left back and move Tomiyasu right back. I have an option there. So.
Yeah.
So I'm not. So I'll still play my strongest defense, and these four have played together in 2 games now, so they have a good sense of of what they're doing together.
And I think this is where a conversation could spur. But let's get the obvious position. So in that sort of DM number 6 role, are we still going to go with Thomas Partey or Jorginho, or we're putting Declan Rice? Like, what's the consensus here?
Honestly speaking, I want to say this, and I know it's going to be. People are going to be like, why do you want to do this? But I would play Declan Rice there.
Okay.
I'm not going to play Thomas Partey. And I'll tell you why I'm setting up this way.
And I watch your other midfield, and then you can maybe explain
I'd play Merino, Mikel Merino in that role.
So you're confident he is back?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. Usually, a player does not make it to the last day of training before a game, the day before the game, and can be put on the squad if he hadn't been training by himself for weeks before and training with the physios, like working on this stuff. They just don't bring you on that last day. So this idea, and he's getting the notes and the memos from every other previous training on what they would expect from an 8 and the role that he needs to play. And he's doing his treadmills, he's running outside, he's kicking ball with them every now and then, but he's now joined full training. So it's not like, oh, he's not fit. This was a shoulder thing. Merino was fit, shoulder. So but we're not talking about an ankle or knee or ACL or anything like that, or hamstring. This is just shoulder. So I think his shoulder is good. I will be throwing him back into the fire, man. I need power in that place.
I mean, you make a good point. It is only a shoulder injury. It's not a leg injury or an ankle injury or an ACL or anything like that.
Yeah.
So there is a point to be made that actually, even with the shoulder injury, he could still be doing like gym workouts and keeping his cardio.
Kicks. Cardio, kicks, everything. Still kicking ball. He just doesn't have to. All they don't want you to do is aggravate the shoulder. So the way you sleep, don't sleep on it a certain way. When you're doing stuff, don't pick up anything heavy.
Physical, like actual training, like
no weight training. Don't do anything physical so you don't aggravate it. And that's all I think that would have been. It's a slightly fractured shoulder blade. It wasn't like his knee or his leg. So I don't understand why people are like, oh, he's back from injury, let's not play him yet. I'm like, his legs are good. We play football with our legs. What are we saying here? This guy.
But this now opens up a very interesting conversation because that last midfield spot,
Ethan Nwaneri is who I would play.
You said earlier you'd just take
I
him
said
off
I'd
the
bring him.
bench.
I'd bring him, and I said I'd bring him in the sub. But when I checked now, so Merino was on the squad. I'm putting Merino, then I'm putting Ethan.
That's if. Oh no, they have got him. Amazing. Okay, as a bit of
And do you
fairness,
know why? And do you know why I would do that now? Because I now have a dual winning monster and a Declan Rice front of a back four. So even if Ethan is high and low, these two guys can help him
you know when you say it, Dio, it's
defensively.
actually even more like compelling because you're like, no, just go strong. Don't play the kids. Like go. So like for you to say this is big.
No, because I eventually now finally have the. You remember when I called my back four? I said Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, Timber, and I said if once I get Merino and Rice in front of those two, I'm happy to play anybody else in front of them. And I think Ethan has the talent to do it right now. Because at this point, I don't want to bring in a Leandro Trossard to play a role that he's not good at. I'd rather keep Leandro Trossard as my super sub to come in on the left if I need to. Or in fact, I start up front. Definitely, I'm going to be starting Kai Havertz as my 9. Saka is going
Okay.
to be on my right and Martinelli on the left. And I will be looking at Trossard coming in. If Martinelli gives me 15 minutes of stink, I'll take him out and put Leandro Trossard. I don't care. Like that's how I would change. That's the kind of manager I would be. So I know Arteta would do it differently. He'll wait till 60th minute, but I wouldn't. And the reason I'm not playing Partey in this game for now is because he doesn't have the legs yet. Partey still, and not that he doesn't have the legs. Partey, because of his injury, I'm also trying to protect my player. I respect Partey. I love Partey. I think Partey is an amazing player. I don't think we should let him play as many games like that, because of his injury. That's the last thing we need is Partey injured and out for the season again. If I need to bring him on, here's the good thing about this. Look at this.
Can I say one thing to you?
Yeah.
Do you think Arteta's going to really change the team that much from the team from the weekend?
No, I don't think he is. He's asking what team I would put up. So I was telling him this is the team I would put up. Yeah.
If we were to do a predicted 11 for what, and we had to put money on the players that Arteta's going to play, let's be honest.
I don't think he's going to play Merino. It'll be Rice, Partey.
He's going to play Partey and Trossard.
It'll be Rice, Partey, and Trossard because he. The one thing I can say about Mikel Arteta is he defaults to senior players. He defaults. If you look at the days of Rob Holding, there were players that we could have gone to get from the academy that are better than that guy to come in and just play and fill the spot. But Arteta would default to senior players to allow them play for us. So I think, yeah, we can switch it around. But this is how I would set up, by the way. So I was just like, this is Dio's team if I needed to go.
I mean, again, it's a massive for him to say Ethan Nwaneri, though. Like, because normally it's like, just play the strongest team, just get the win, and then we'll put them on. So for him to actually say this is quite interesting. I'm just intrigued.
Because it's a strong team already. Now I don't mind. The only person on this team who's a youngster is Ethan. Like every other person is a dual winning machine in that midfield and that defense. If if Timber inverts and stays right behind Ethan there, as Ethan pushes up, Calafiori comes in, Merino drops into the left channel holds the left wing, the line, and allows Martinelli to come on the inside. I don't see how, even if you bypass Ethan, you're still going to have to deal with Declan Rice, and you're going to have to deal with Timber. So these are positions that I feel like, which is why I would take the risk with him now.
No, it's definitely something that I actually agree with this lineup. I think it's time for. I've said it for a very long time. I do want the Ethan Partey to start. I think it's time for him to kind of be given that opportunity to start in a big game because he's showing that confidence, that arrogance to just take players on and say, "Look, this is my game." And I do think reward him with the start because it's only so many minutes that he can get, especially with like Martin Odegaard's return kind of coming soon. Like, we've obviously speculated kind of October, November time is when we can start to see Martin Odegaard back in the squad. And that's only going to diminish the opportunities that Nwaneri gets because Odegaard's too important to have on the bench or to give Ethan an opportunity if he's available. So this is the prime time, especially with the performance he's had against Bolton, against Leicester. What he did against Spurs, granted, it was only like 5, maybe 10 minutes or so, but he's showing that confidence every time. He's asking for the ball. Give me that ball. Let me change this game. So I think that deserves at least, and I have no worries that if I saw Nwaneri start tomorrow evening, I'll be fine with it. I'd actually say it actually boosts our opportunities to win the game. So, because he's a natural 10, he knows that midfield role, he knows what to do, where to position himself, and he seems like a goal threat, which has been a long, long time since we've had a natural goal threat from midfield. So,
Yeah.
You know, there's
I
more
mean,
to
like if I had gone with like a Partey, Rice in the 8, and then an Ethan, I would be afraid to do that because Partey, I think, still needs a lot of help defensively right now. You know, we've seen how he's shaky. That means what I'm asking Ethan to do on that right side is not only go up and affect the play up front and try to score and create chances for me. I'm asking him to also drop back into into the midfield and help Partey with defense whenever the ball is coming back in that way. And for me, that is a lot to ask of a youngster like him right now. Not because I don't think he has what it takes, but because I also think that regardless of what we say, what Martin Odegaard brings to the team is not just what he does in the pockets or how he handles the ball in small spaces. It's also like the press. He leads our press, and that guy is running all 90 minutes. Do I know if Ethan can run all 90 minutes? I don't, but I know he's creative. So having a Merino who's a dual winning monster and a Declan Rice right in front of that back four where we can invert either Calafiori or Timber into that midfield will allow him a lot more space to go forward and do what he needs to do and protect the ball when we lose the ball, so by that time he can also drop back and help. So that's what I think. Yeah.
I mean, this is how like PSG lined up in their last game. I mean, it's probably going to be a little bit different considering they probably were resting players to kind of play for the Arsenal game. Obviously, they've got Kimpembe in there as well. But another name that we've obviously not spoken about is like the Zari Emery, like someone who's been highly touted. I think he's also that 17, 18-year-old bracket as well, and he's kind of bursted onto the scene at PSG.
Yeah.
So they've got talent, they've got threat across that front three. Barcola, Lee's going to play. Now it's going to be interesting who comes in for Ousmane Dembele with Ramos also being injured. But they also set up in a similar way. The philosophies of both managers are fairly similar. Granted, Arteta at the moment is playing in a different way that, a bit more solidified defensively rather than this sort of natural free-flowing football and the tiki-taka and playing into tight spaces. But it's going to be, for me, a very, very intriguing game, especially with the lineups, the options that we have available to us. Just finally, let's wrap up, in terms of our final thoughts. What are we looking forward to and what our score predictions are. Go on, Dale.
I am looking forward to an exciting game. I just feel like the champions, like the song is ringing in my head. I'm literally having goosebumps. I just I wish it was today. I'm looking forward to a very, very exciting game. These are the games that I've always wanted to see us playing. The PSGs, the Bayerns, the Real Madrids. I want us to win them, but honestly, I always say this to myself. Now that we're back in the Champions League, we have to go all out, and we can only prove that we are one of the best by beating teams like this. So yeah, so I think yes, man. I'm looking forward to an exciting night tomorrow. It's going to be in the afternoon for me. It's going to be like 2 p.m. in the afternoon. Score prediction. My score prediction. I still think I still hold on to a 2-0. I think we get a clean sheet.
Who are your likely goal scorers?
Likely goal scorers. I'm going to say this is going to sound crazy. Gabriel Magalhaes is going to score from a set piece. And Ethan Nwaneri is going to score if he plays. If Ethan doesn't play and it's Leandro Trossard that plays, the Trossard will score from there.
Okay, so you think whoever that number 10 or that, other than the Kai Havertz, whoever plays, okay.
Whoever plays in that is going to be the one to score.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, I think similar to you. I think this is going to be an exciting game of tactical battles, and I think it is going to be a chess game. I don't think this is going to be one for the neutrals, kind of like sitting back and just watching a game of football that's going to be end to end like a basketball game. I mean, it could be. There could be a potential in the last sort of 20, 30 minutes if nothing's happened in the game for both managers just to unleash on each other and kind of just let the handbrakes go, because I think both teams do need. I mean, PSG won their opening game, but they still need that second win as well. They need 6 points. I mean, for them, a draw might be okay, actually, but in the reality of things, you kind of want to get your games done and wins early in so that you kind of understand where you're sitting. There's no pressure in the final games. And go on.
Sorry, I was going to say, the unknown is what I tell people, when you look at City, when we played City, on the stream when I said Savinho is the person I worry about. Do you remember? I don't know if you remember when I said Savinho. I said why? Because we don't have a lot of data on him to be able to show. We have data on him from the Spanish league, but we don't have data in the Premiership to show them this guy. This is how dangerous he can be. This is what he can do. And those are the play. And he was the one who hurt us in the first goal. He cut in on Calafiori, unleashed that pass to Haaland, and boom, goal. That's what I think Ethan brings to this Arsenal team. The unknown. There's enough data about a lot of Arsenal players that other managers can look at, not a lot on Ethan.
That's a very true point. And
And that
obviously,
for
the
me,
benefit for us is like going to PSG, especially like us being Arsenal and the magnitude of like the kind of team that we are. You know that like the PSG stadium, I think it's was it Parc de France, would have been absolutely like toxic for us. Like they would have made that such
intimidating.
intimidating as hell with the tifos out, with the noise going on. That's the one thing I do critique the English teams. It's not just Arsenal, but I think overall in England we don't do enough. And I don't know if that's a ruling thing. I don't know if it's because we're not allowed to do it because of club rules and stuff like that. But I wish we had the tifos and the grand statues that
The
we
smoke, the fireworks, let's
it's
go.
one thing in England we just don't have. It's not even a case of, it's not a case of like, it's just Arsenal that don't do it. It's just across England. I know City did it once, but it seems like a dying art in England where we kind of make this a magnitude and a fortress to kind of reckon with. But I do wish there's a plan tomorrow. I hope there's something going on. I mean, obviously it's a midweek game, it's Europe, and it is difficult at 8 o'clock in the evening to try and, have plans together when people are going to work and stuff like that. So I do understand the kind of ramifications of these sort of things. But for me, I just want to see a magnitude of like an atmosphere, make it toxic, make it hostile. And for me, that's what's going to really give us the edge in a game like this.
Yeah, we need that 12th man. We need the 12th man to really, really rise up. We need the 12th man to really rise up. I mean, and with the advent of technology, man, I don't even know. This is totally off the park from what we're talking about. But why don't we have the way of, fans at home who are watching stuff, like those of us who are just like this, for example, being able to plug to the team server and you can hear our voices through the speakers in the stadium? Why? Like, why there's technology for this nonsense?
I'm sure they did that during lockdown or something of that sort of nature.
Yeah, like if we could do that, man, that would be amazing. Like, we'll join in. Let's give them this 12th man power, because I'm telling you, like, I know that the feeling of having people who support you on the sidelines. I didn't really play football very much. I played football, but not to any high level. I played for my high school, played in college type thing, but then I did judo to a high level, and the feeling of having your teammate on the sideline just cheering you up. Oof.
Yeah. That second wind is real.
Oh, it's real. Like, you're tired, you're gassed out. It's like you've got a minute, Dad. You've got a minute. You're 7 points up. What's the audio? Go. Get him. And then they mention a technique that you know that technique you should apply. But you're just, and he's like, apply now. And then you look up and you see the opening and you go and it's a knock on and you win. Yeah. Like it happens. It happens, So yeah. So that second win is
football. We've seen it. The crowd influences everything. But I mean, Mo's got a few comments here. He's predicted a 1-1, or at least he hopes it's a 1-1, going for Barcola to score. I mean, if anyone's scoring for me, is Barcola from the PSG side. He's the only one that can ruin a clean sheet for us. Obviously, you'll take a draw away from home. But to kind of end things off, my score prediction, I mean, it's a tough one. Do I see a clean sheet? Probably not. I do think Barcola is going to do something. He's an unpredictable player, someone who can get the better of our defense as well. Like, I mean, and it's no disrespect to our defense, but he's just a sensational footballer.
I think Jurriën Timber. I think Jurriën Timber is sending him off the pitch in the first 20 minutes. Well, we are now dark arts. That's what we are. What dark arts?
Yeah, he's not a physical player, so I can see that happening. I'm not, against it, but I just think there's some trickery. He's just got that. Something about him. I don't know what it is. It's just that some arrogance about, not even arrogance, but that sort of weird, like he's a guy that will just do things with the football. Like, he doesn't have that sort of aura of arrogance, but it's more of I'm just there to play a football game. I just want to humiliate people, and that's just kind of what I get from him. Yeah. You can be physical, you can be faster than him, but he
finds a way to run past you with a ridiculous trick, and you're just like, and you're watching him, and you're like, what? How did this? Who?
Just a second ago, I dusted him. Like, I just barged him into the side, like into the advertising board, and now he just gotten up and dusted himself off. So I do think, look, he's going to be a constant threat, regardless of how much of a bad night he's having. He's got that mentality, which I quite like in young players, that Bukayo Saka has, even though he's having a horrid night and like things are going against him, he can pop up in an instance with something, and it's just like, whoa, where did that one come from? So that's why I'm going to go 3-1. That's my prediction. I don't know how confident I'm of a clean sheet. I really hope we do, because it'd be a good confidence boost after a few games to actually get another clean sheet. So that's going to be my final predictions. But thank you, obviously, Dale, for coming on, obviously substituting for Igal. It's been a good stream, guys, but I'm excited, man. Champions League nights just get you feeling different.
We shall be there. We shall be there. We shall be
take
there.
it easy, guys. Make sure you subscribe, like, and obviously check out Banter on the Pitch and Dial on Twitter. And we will see you hopefully very soon, maybe even after the PSG game. We shall see. But take it easy, guys. God bless. And
Peace.
peace.
Like